Okay, so our next little bit here in D4, we did finding the opposite side using our tangent skills. So now we're going to move into sine and cosine. So as the title says here, we're going to be looking at opposite side solving. That would be sine, and adjacent side solving, and that would be cosine. So that's our new area. And we're going to look at a couple examples here. So remember, first of all, that cosine of an angle, we'll say A, equals adjacent over hypotenuse, and sine of an angle, we'll say A, is opposite over hypotenuse. So you're going to be given the hypotenuse, and you're going to be given the angle A, and then you're going to have to calculate the adjacent side. So if you're trying to find the adjacent side, we could rearrange that to side A equals the cosine of A times H. Okay, and then if you're trying to find the opposite side, instead of using cosine, you use sine. Okay, so that's pretty much similar to what we did with the tangent, but now you're going to be, the hypotenuse of the triangle is going to be given to you along with an angle. So we're going to do 3 or 4 examples here, and then I will give you a practice sheet. Okay, so let's draw out a triangle. Let's draw one like this. Okay, so rather than getting the 2 leg sides, you're going to get the hypotenuse here. So let's say that this hypotenuse is 34 millimeters. And let's say that this is our side A, and I want you to find the opposite side, X. So let's say that this is 20 degrees. So you have to recognize that which one of these 2 you're going to have to pick. Are you going to pick this one or this one? Now this one is opposite in hypotenuse, this one's adjacent in hypotenuse. So this is our opposite side, and this is our hypotenuse. You're always going to be getting the hypotenuse in this case. So opposite in hypotenuse, that's this one. So X equals, that's that X, that equals sine A, so sine A is sine 20, times 34. Simple as that. Really not very difficult. So we take our multiplication. Make sure your calculator's in DEG or degrees like normal. Go sine 20. Okay, that's 0.342. And we're going to multiply that by 34. And we can round that off to the nearest whole or whatever. So times 34. So we get about 11.6. Okay, so that's an example where you might use sine. Now, if you have to end up using cosine, that's because you're going to be using the other side. So take a look at an example like that as well. So let's say I drew this triangle here. Okay, so that was our triangle. And our right angle's in the corner here, just like normal. Say this is our A angle this time. And this time I want to find this side. And I know that this angle here is 75 degrees. And that this hypotenuse here is 81 millimeters. Okay, in this case, there we go. In this case, we're going to go, okay, which one? This has to be our adjacent side. This has to be our hypotenuse side. So once we know that, we go up here and we look, okay, well, adjacent is this one here. So we've got to use this equation. x equals, okay, cosine, not sine, but cosine of 75 times 81. Not very difficult, so we just plug that in. Cosine 75. Okay, so that's 0.259. We'll multiply that by 81. And I get 20.96, or about 21. Okay. So that's pretty much the two that you're using. Let's do just a couple more here for practice here, and then I'll give you a practice sheet that uses both of these, so both sine and cosine. So you'll be given the hypotenuse, and you have to find either this opposite side or this adjacent side using sine and cosine. So don't get mixed up between the two. Just be careful on that. Okay, we'll do one like this. Okay. Let's say we have this triangle here, and that this is our angle here, A, we'll say, and we'll say that it's small angle of 11 degrees. And this one here is, now I can get you to find both of these. Let's say that this is 105 millimeters, and I say find X and Y. So you can use both sine and cosine at the same time. Well, not at the same time, but in steps to find both of these. So all you have to do is figure out which one is opposite and which one is adjacent. So we know that this is the opposite side, this is the adjacent side, and this is the hypotenuse. So you have to choose which one you want to do first. Let's do the opposite side first. So the opposite side, X, okay, if you look up the formula, that's sine of the angle times the hypotenuse. Okay, sine 11. Okay, that's 0.191 times that. Okay, and that makes sense because we get a small number for that one, 20. And if you look at the triangle, it looks smaller than that one for sure. Now, why? That's going to be equal to, okay, well, we're looking at the adjacent side, so that's cosine 11 times 105. Okay. All right, so when we look at those two, we go cosine 11. .982 times 105. Okay, so we multiply that by 105. That's 103. And that's basically it for the next section. Okay, so probably next day we're going to be looking at combining everything together. Okay, so let's kind of sneak one more in here. Okay, let's say we had this one. Okay, so this is 33, we'll say. This is our, let's say that this is 28 degrees. And let's say that this is our X and our Y. So again, X equals, okay, this is our opposite side, this is our adjacent side, and this is our hypotenuse. So X is our opposite side, so that's sine 28 times 33. Okay, calculate that. That's 0.469. Okay, and we multiply that by 33. We get 15.5. Okay, and then y, that's cosine of 29, because it's the adjacent, or 28, sorry, because it's the adjacent side. So we go cosine 28, that's 0.883, and we get an answer for that. And that's pretty much it, 29.1. So those ones are fairly simple, except this time, instead of just doing tangent, you have two to worry about there. Okay, sometimes you get both of them done at the same time, sometimes just one. So I'll give you a sheet for practice on that, and good luck.